Hi guys, it's Lisa, right? And you are welcome back to my Anxious Peaks podcast. Today we will be looking at something I have found quite bothering. It's constantly come up over and over again, and at this point I actually want to talk about it. Perfection and imperfection. I grew up in a house of perfectionists, in a family of perfectionists. We could never accept anything less than excellence. So I had to be an excellent student. I really don't know. Well, I'm the first child, so yeah, their expectations of perfections fall on me. My siblings don't really get this much tension and high expectations. So I get most of the pressure, and I can see that in my life, it's affected my perception of life a lot. I have constantly, from when I was young, I have always been proud associating myself or identifying myself as a perfectionist. Why? Because I feel like as a perfectionist, I can't take anything less than excellence. I can't take anything less than the best. And that is something that I constantly push for. I cannot take anything other than, how I have pictured it. I always set a very high standard, a standard that beats world records. And, I set goals. Perfectionist goals are most times unrealistic. And that's the problem. Being a perfectionist does not allow you have flaws. It does not allow you accept flaws. It does not allow you accept the fact that you are flawed. It does not allow you accept the fact that others are flawed. Others can't make mistakes. You can't make mistakes. And I mean, you're human, so you are bound to make mistakes. So I'd find myself beating myself up over a mistake that I made, and I think that it might have ruined my life. A decision I made that I probably wasn't thinking clearly. No, I could never accept that I could fail. Up until the later part of my life, when I had, actually experienced failing a course. And, my parents said a lot of things, because for a straight A student, I had started out as a straight A student from primary school. I was constantly the best. In secondary school, I was constantly winning medals and awards and going for competitions and all of that. So getting into university, and for the first time in my life, having an F on my result was a danger zone for me. I had a complete meltdown. My parents were upset. They were crazy about it. They were angry, furious even. I could not accept that I had failed. Crying for weeks, and I was like, I'm a failure. I kept telling myself that, because it was just one. Well, no, I think it was two, right? I think it was two. And in my head, I'm like, it was so funny, because these were courses that I loved. One was a math course, and anyone who knew me knew that I was the best at math. So if you had told anyone that I had failed that course, they would be arguing with you. People could vouch for me that it's not possible for me to have failed that course. I was a math guru. That was something I constantly prided myself in. The other part was a course related to my course of study, my program, electrical engineering. And I picked the course, so it would be very off to say that I failed a course that I picked. Failure was unacceptable to me. It was just something that I could not live with. And that's one issue with being a perfectionist. Not being able to let yourself fall, not being able to let yourself fail, not being able to take the flaws of others and, turn it into something better, not being able to move forward for failures, constantly beating yourself up for that decision that you made, maybe when you were drunk, or for that mistake, that thing you said that hurt someone. Perfection. No. In my life, I never really got to appreciate the flaws of life. I never really got to appreciate my flaws. It took me a while. And, when I started my journey of self-discovery, to realize, like, yeah, I have flaws. I have, issues here and issues there. I have problems that I have that I need to deal with. I have, certain subtle, what would I call it? Errors in my programming that they're just bugs and they can be fixed. Some aren't, right? But learning to accept those flaws made me me. All my life, I realized that I had been someone else. I had been trying to be someone else. I had been trying to please people, trying to make people happy. I felt that by perfection, I could make people happy. I could be what people wanted me to be. And it was frustrating because I was trying to fit into a box that wasn't my size. I was constantly trying to adjust to fit people's specifications for a human being. I realized I was not really being myself. I was hardly ever myself. Because the real me was goofy, the real me was crazy, the real me was wild, the real me was a nerd. The real me loves anime, loves playing games, sleeps a lot, slacks sometimes, doesn't really like communication, more of an ambivert. But no one could really see the real me because a lot of people didn't like those parts of me. People didn't like me being goofy. People felt I had to be serious. If I wasn't serious, I couldn't be taken seriously. There were so many standards that I had to set in my head to achieve, society's point of the working woman, the serious woman, to be taken seriously as a Black African woman in technology, by the way. And I wasn't myself. And it took me a very long journey of self-discovery to realize that, yes, I am flawed, but if I weren't flawed, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be Lisa Wright. I wouldn't be able to talk about this. I wouldn't be able to, sleep and wake up and be happy at what I am doing. I wouldn't be happy doing what I'm doing. I mean, I changed career paths completely. I won't say I deviated, but I'm finally doing what I always wanted to do with my life. And I'm happy because I can wake up every day and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I'm not perfect and I accept that. And, it's hard because in society today, everyone wants to say that they accept mistakes and they accept flaws and all of that. But no one really accepts mistakes. No one really accepts flaws. Most people have their selection of flaws that they can take. Everyone has their view of perfect. And, I think it's quite an irony because you'd say, like, someone told me, oh yeah, like everyone makes mistakes. And I'm like, yeah, I make mistakes, but no one really wants those mistakes. No one's really ready to accept that people make mistakes. It's just all words. We're human. I feel like this is somewhat telling you to learn to accept some mistakes. People are flawed, people make mistakes, and I think society makes it hard enough on them when they make those mistakes, even though society still says, oh yeah, everyone makes mistakes, oh yeah, like everyone's flawed. Not everyone, no one's perfect. Like, you finish saying all of that and then you're literally condemning a person for their mistake. You're literally sending the person through hell for a mistake, one error, one flaw that they might have in their entire perfect DNA. It's hurtful sometimes. It's fun, when you figure out this is the irony of life. But can we really take mistakes? Do we really know what it means to be imperfect? Do we really understand what it means to be imperfect? If we did, I doubt there'd be so many cases of discrimination and racism and segregation between people of color, race, abilities, people with disabilities. We really don't know what it means to be imperfect. We really don't know what it means to make mistakes. The last thing I told someone regarding this was that the only one who can really accept my mistakes is the one who made me. Because technically to him, it's nothing really is a mistake. I'm not a mistake. He didn't make a mistake.